Hi guys, it's Ben here from T-Rex Space Station. How's everyone doing? Welcome to this play and chat video. As you can see, I'm playing Perfect Dark on the Nintendo 64, which is one of the games that I hold in high regard amongst the N64 library. As you can see, it's one of the better looking games on the system, and one of the few ones that doesn't really hurt my eyes because of how blocky and pixelated everything is. This game required the memory expansion, the graphics expansion, to run the single player campaign, and I think they've really taken advantage of that in this game. That's one of the reasons I think why the graphics look so much better than some of the other games. As you can see, things look pretty futuristic and well polished, and there's lots of sort of good lighting effects and things like that in this game. And you're about to meet the protagonist here, as we just fly up on our ship and now drop down very coolly as an entrance into a game, isn't it? We're going to land on the roof. Really cool that you play as a female protagonist in this game. I think that was a pretty important thing for such an early game. Of course, we're quite used to that nowadays, but the more of that the better, in my opinion. I think we need to have more equality of characters rather than everybody just being so bloody male orientated. This game's got some pretty good voice acting, and I'm sure there's an enemy coming here, and most of the people's accents are British, which is pretty funny. I don't know why, it always just sounds really odd when people are overly British in video games. I suppose it's kind of like carrying on the James Bond type of protagonist. As you can see, the game does kind of handle and feel a lot like GoldenEye. In my opinion, it's like a better, more polished, more interesting version of GoldenEye. Things are just a bit more futuristic and more engaging, and I actually sooner play this than I would GoldenEye. I mean, I know that that's a great game and a classic game, but yeah, I think this one just looks a bit better. The environments are more varied and the graphics are more polished. But as you'd expect, it's taking advantage of, you know, a graphics upgrade. Oh god, the guy's trying to karate chop me, which is quite amusing. That really reminds me of GoldenEye multiplayer, running around in circles trying to karate chop each other to death. As you can see, I've actually got an auto-aim mode on, which I don't think it cheapens the game that much. I quite like having it on. I've been playing some Quake recently and finding it quite difficult to control, and so a little bit of auto-aiming is quite welcome. I mean, you still have to shoot and dodge and navigate and stuff, and that's the majority of the game, really, isn't it? So I've got no qualms with using a bit of auto-aim. Let's just have a look through these double doors here, see what's going on inside. Ooh, hello. Yeah, everybody does still look really consisted of a lot of blocks, but there are probably worse examples than this. But this is what I'm talking about. The game feels really futuristic. It's almost like you're in Blade Runner, looking outside the window at this big metropolis, and you can see the moon there. They've put a lot of effort into making this game look and feel really interesting, and it's got quite a good plot to it as well, though it has been quite some time since I played through it. I don't think I've ever completed it, but I got pretty far in it. From what I remember, the missions got horribly hard later on. Anyway, so one of the things I wanted to start the video with was a shout out to another YouTuber. Get back here. The channel is called Brad Allison, or Guy. Oh god, I've forgotten it now. He has some other alias on it, but the channel's called Brad Allison, and I think it's Guy in Kalamazoo is the other thing. But I'll post a link to his channel in the video description below. Now, I first came across his channel when he did a video response to my Community Collection Questions episode 3. And I really enjoyed his video response, and so I watched through some of his other videos. And he's got a really nice channel. Actually, it's a very small channel. He's got less than 30 subscribers, so, you know, I think it'd be really good if you guys could go and check him out and subscribe. And, you know, all of us when we were smaller channels really needed a bit of a leg up to get some subscribers and get people watching our stuff. And I think it's really good to support those channels who are right at the beginning in terms of subscribers. He's got some very interesting content. He seems like a really nice, laid-back guy with quite a relaxed presentation style. He's got some Diablo 3 videos on there, and I love Diablo 3. Quite a lot of sort of modern games on there. I'm not sure there's that much retro, but he does interesting vlogs and some reviews and things, and yeah, you guys should go and check him out, and I think that you'll be pleasantly surprised. And thank you very much for the video response. It was really, really much appreciated. So a couple of things I wanted to talk about. I really enjoy watching a channel called LifeSpiller79. I've given a shout out to that channel before. I'm sure most of you guys have watched it. If you haven't, then well, what are you doing? Go and watch it. And he's been posting some really interesting vlogs and question style videos recently, and he always thinks of really good questions to ask. Let's see, can I swap to the double pistol here? No, I'm sure there's a way to swap to having let's just take care of this guy first. Oh no, it's not doing it. I'm sure that there's a way. Maybe I'm just not pressing the right key. One of them was asking about, are gamers expected too much is too much expected of gamers these days? And that was an interesting question that's very relevant, and it's something that I've been thinking about too. I guess the reason why he's saying that is because now more than ever, the gamer's involvement in a game's development it's much more emphasized than it ever has been in the past. I think Steam and Greenlight have a part to play in it, but there's a lot of games that are in beta and stuff out there for you to play. And, there are mixed opinions about that and different ways of looking at it. But one of the things that I think really does take the biscuit is when, you're expected to pay pretty much full price for a game that's frankly unfinished. And that's usually, a beta release of a game is released, which is fine. Like, put a beta out there, but don't charge like 40 quid for it. That's just really taking the biscuit. Just got to wait for the lift to come up here, I think. It's almost like gamers are expected to not only buy the game, but they're also expected to beta test it, to review it, and to fund resources for it. Which is a little bit rich, if you ask me. It's kind of like, well, actually all we should really be doing is buying the game once, playing it, and enjoying it. But games are coming out in increasingly very much unfinished fashions, and I think that sometimes it goes too far, and developers take the piss too much. It isn't right to have games that are released. I'm talking not only of Steam and stuff here. AAA titles that are released completely unfinished or needing patching on day one. But it's like, well, how does that possibly happen if you're beta testing the games yourself and playing through them yourself? The answer simply has to be that these games are being rushed to meet targets. I understand that there's a lot of pressures on game development companies to get their games out in time, but I mean, for God's sake, make sure that the game's complete and finished, and not just a complete mess of a game. That isn't fair. I think that on the whole, it's a negative thing. There are some advantages to it, though. One of the nice things about it, if you're beta testing a game, is that you get it earlier. But going further than that, it also means that the gamers can have a positive impact on the game. So I've played quite a bit of a game called Starbound, which was very much in early beta phases when I first started playing it, and it's come along a long way since then. And the community of people who played that game got the chance to actually have a really big role in improving it. If it already has a community of people playing it, it means that those people can shape the future of the game and sort of iron out any teething problems and make it play how they want it. So there is a positive side to it. But looking at some of the modern gen stuff, PS4 stuff, Mark Verheer's making me laugh on Facebook, posting pictures and stuff of his PS4 updates. It's like the system needs so many damn updates, and yeah, people are expecting too much of us. We're gamers at the end of the day. We don't want to sit through huge big updates and patches all the goddamn time. Sometimes they're taking up huge amounts of your hard drive space, and on these modern consoles, PS4 and stuff, hard drive space is at a premium. You got to pay for it. It's not cheap. And so it just takes the biscuit in a lot of ways, and I think that people need to finish their games. And this is why I love retro gaming so much, because you can just blow in the cartridge, stick it in, it's optimized, and it works. And there's something instantly tangible and accessible about that it's just amazing. It shouldn't be that it's amazing, but compared to a lot of what goes on in modern games, it seems to be amazing, because it's becoming a thing of the past where you buy a game that's optimized and doesn't need any faffing around to start off with. And that's a shame, really, isn't it? We don't really want to see that happening more and more. Anyway, that's my 2 pence on that. The other one was, well, quite a sad video recently, a video that SNEStastic did, essentially saying that he's now going to sell off his collection. I think that he's been feeling as though the whole thing is getting a bit out of hand. Possibly, he described it almost like an addiction. You know, buying games just for the sake of it sometimes, or buying games that he doesn't need. And so he just got completely fed up and wants to get out. And it got me thinking about my own collection and about sort of what we're doing here. It made me realise actually we do need to think seriously about what our aims are and what we're actually doing with our collections. What the hell is this? I think that to start off with, there's like a big obsession type thing. And there certainly was for me. It was like when I had a job and I had some disposable income, I just wanted every game that I could get. And so you'd go to something like Play Expo and you'd just buy all of these bloody games. And there was no kind of consideration of the constraints that you should be putting on yourself or the need for being careful with stuff. You just kind of got on with it and did it. And then as my collections got bigger over time, I've started to realise that, you know what, actually you do have to be really careful. Because if you're not careful, oh cool, I've got a better weapon here. The things will just take over. The collection will just get too big. You know, my collection has got to a stage now where I don't really have any more space, and so, you know, I've got to stop. I've got to stop just buying more and more games, and try to resist that that desire just to keep purchasing stuff. Let's just have a look at what the objective is here. Use your remote comm link to get past the door to the sector where Dr. Carroll's lab. Okay, so use CamSpy to obtain a spectrographic photo record of the isotope on test in the basement labs. Alright, so we've got to use some technology here, or technology. I think it's important to set out at the beginning what you want to do, because you don't just want to end up with a huge amount of stuff that you can't play, or that you don't play, that you don't want, that you don't use. Alright, I think there's got to be a way to, here we go, activate this CamSpy thing. Mobile camera. So have we activated? Oh, look at that. Whoa, look at this crazy shit. Now what am I supposed to do with it? Oh, that's me actually looking back on myself. Alright, well I've got... Oh, that thing's coming back down again now. I don't think I'm supposed to use this yet. I think I'm supposed to go back where I came from. Ah, come back. And it's gone back down again. How the bugger do I get back up there? Do I have to just wait for it to come back? I think it's important to find some goals and decide what it is that you want to do. And don't just buy stuff for the sake of it. You know, there's a lot of really crap pickups videos that I've been seeing around on YouTube. People just buying a load of shit in bulk. And it's like, you're not going to play these games. And that kind of thing just encourages this phenomenon of just buying a load of rubbish. Yeah, okay, fine, buy games. We all buy games. But increasingly, I think the focus has to be on buying games that are actually good, that are worthwhile, that are worth something to you and that you're going to play. Because otherwise the thing just starts to become really meaningless. And this is something that I've had to learn for myself as well. I've had to try to teach myself. Do you really need to just buy that game? Are you actually going to play it? Do you want it? And I've bought systems that I just fancied, and they're expensive systems, and I didn't really think about what I was doing so much. I think the example with that would be the Sega Saturn. I wanted a Japanese Sega Saturn because it was something completely different and new, and interesting. But the games are bloody expensive on it, and it's like another sort of random unfinished part of my collection there. Oh god, there's a lot of guys bursting in. Maybe I should have just stuck to what I had. And maybe you should try to stick to what you know, or stick to a couple of systems, but not go too far. I think maybe you could probably realistically collect substantially for, what, 2 or 3. More than that, and your space and everything is just going to get so swamped and taken up. I've got much more than 3. I've got 5 or so that I seriously collect for. And I think it's just seeing SNEStastic's video and seeing how kind of sad he was, it made me think, Yeah, that's a shame. I don't want to feel that way myself. I don't want to feel disillusioned about my collection. And so I think it's important to decide already, where am I going with it, and what do I want to do? What do I want to achieve? I think for me the focus, the N64 is actually another example of that, a system that I don't play all that much, that I just bought because I wanted it. And that's fine, but I'm not going to go mental and buy loads of games for it. I think that for me the focus is going to be on Sega Mega Drive and Nintendo Wii. Those are the two systems that I most enjoy collecting for, really. They're the systems that, well, the Mega Drive is the really big nostalgic one, and the Wii is one that just kind of took my fancy as I had it for so many years, and I think it's a good one to collect for at this moment in time because of how cheap it is. And of course I've kept my PS2 games and things like that just from the past. It's the highest security sector, but it's just about being aware, really. I think it's just about being conscious of not going too far. Oh, I've got a new weapon. I don't know, what do you guys think about that? Do you think that we should just go ahead and enjoy all of the fun of just buying stuff when you see it and getting caught up in it? Or do you think, like me, that actually you do need to think really carefully about what your end goal is, because otherwise you'll just get swamped with a load of stuff? I guess every one of us has probably been impressionable in the past and bought a load of random things, but it just comes down to kind of what you want, I suppose. Well, that's all I really had to say. Thanks for listening to this play and chat video. I'm probably going to leave it there because I seem to remember this bit is easy to get stuck at. I think you have to do something with that little mouse thing on the floor, or maybe I need to use the... Oh no, I know what it is. You have to use the cam spy. Yeah, I think you got to use the cam spy. This is such a cool feature, by the way. Really creative. Okay, I think I need to go back through there, actually. Oops, no, don't cancel the mission. Just cancel the cam spy. I have a feeling that you can use that little thing to, I think it goes through the gap in the door. Yeah, that's it. This is such a creative game, isn't it? Let's just pop that on and see if we can go through. If not... Oh shit, I left it out there. Ah! I need to go collect the bloody thing. Silly me. I should have known. You got to pick it up when you drop it. Where is it? There we go. Picked up your cam spy. Right, let's try it. I'm sure that there's some kind of puzzle with that thing. It's been a while since I played this, but I just kind of remember the sort of vague principle that you've got to use this thing to get through. It's not in here, is it? Oh, it can actually open doors. The cam spy can open doors. Okay. There's some kind of little area, I think, where that little mouse bot thing goes. Anyway, I'm not going to let you sit here watching me rambling and faffing about trying to solve the puzzles. You can see this is a thinking man's shooter. It's not just like a random one. Let's follow that little mouse guy. Where's he going to? He's going back. Alright, fair enough. Well, thanks for listening, guys. Check out Brad Allison, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.